All right, hello YouTube. So today we're going to be talking about goals and also the difference between summative and formative assessment. And I'm going to firstly kick off the discussion by talking about that. So goals need to be, I think we're at the point now where we know goals need to be specific. So just saying, I want to get healthy, I want to get lean, I want to get muscles, that's a little bit too vague. Goals need to be specific. Like, I'm not going to waste your time detailing why that's important to have a specific goal for a specific timeline, but it is. So like goals, for example, like I'm going to drop 20 pounds in March. I want to do a show in June. I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle this year. Those are all specific goals because they have a tangible element of what you want to do, something which is measurable in a measurable time. So it's an achievable goal. So what goals give us is they give us a clear vision of what we are striving for. And when the going gets tough, which it will, if you're trying to achieve something which is challenging, which it should be, then you remember why you started down this path in the first place, and it keeps you on your goal. So goals are important. They help to frame what's possible, and they keep you on the right track. So if I say, for example, the goals for an able-bodied man should be a 300-pound bench press, it's an achievable goal, which is something which, it shows you what you're capable of doing. So it's important. So these goals are assessed only when we achieve them. So they're assessed at the end, and they're important for that reason. They frame a year of work, a lifetime of work. So a goal like that is considered to be a summative assessment. You assess it at the end when it's happened. So maybe 6 months from now, a year from now, 4 years from now. Now, in terms of formative assessment, this is the real gist of the video. Now, formative assessment is potentially more important. The formative assessment is ways of tracking to see if you're on progress on the lead up to that goal, breaking that long goal down into chunks. Yeah. So when people come to me with their long goals, which they are looking to summatively assess at the end. So I want to do a bodybuilding show next June. Faz, prep me. Or I want to get lean. Faz, make me lean. I can provide them, one, with a concrete end goal, but also with checkpoints along the way to say, okay, this is what we're going to do to achieve that week by week, month by month. And that is what formative assessment is, because we can then check off every week, every month to see that we're on the right track, to ensure that we are taking all the steps necessary on a weekly, monthly basis to ensure that we're getting there. So regular evaluations take place of the processes that are occurring to ensure we're doing everything we need to do to stay on track of the timeline of events. So that's my first job, is to do that. My next job is to provide people with an appropriate level of assessment on a weekly and monthly basis. So for that, I'm going to start to go through now some of the common measures that I use with my clients and that you can use with yourself. So firstly, whether it's fat loss or muscle gain, have an agreed upon amount of weight that you're wanting to shift, whether it's on a weekly or monthly basis. And what's important to do is immediately I shift people away from a daily emphasis to a weekly emphasis. Daily weight fluctuations mean very little. They are not a good assessment tool. And there are many people who come to me, not even beginners, some people who are fairly seasoned, dieters or even bodybuilders, who continue to get freaked out over day-to-day weight fluctuations. I mean, there are even people who get freaked out over one weight fluctuation, even though their average for the week went the way it was supposed to do. So you go, Faz, I had a terrible week. Like, hold on. Your average went exactly how we wanted it to do. Yeah, but on Wednesday, I was high. It's like, okay, does that matter? So, weekly targets are far more important. And you use a weekly average to enable you to assess your body weight correctly. So that's the first thing. Have a weekly average, ignore daily fluctuations. It's the first thing, because you are then assessing your body weight at a decent interval, which is weekly, but you're also using a weekly average, which is a more accurate form of data rather than the wildly fluctuating daily fluctuations. Next thing is have weekly or monthly targets. For weight loss, I think weekly is a good idea. So ensure you have a weekly target. One of the sort of common examples that I use with this is people. Let's say people who have a large weight loss goal, whether it's for a competition or otherwise. So let's say they want to lose, 40 pounds. Okay, Well, if we're trying to lose 40 pounds, we need to firstly have a reasonable timeline. So 40 pounds dropped in, say, 10 weeks is probably quite unreasonable. It's possible, probably not that healthy. But let's say 40 pounds dropped in, I don't know, 30 weeks. That's a little bit more reasonable. So what we can do is we can build in appropriate weekly targets. Say, okay, we need to lose X amount of pounds per week, and then build in some contingency time for weeks which don't go well when life happens. Okay, so that's the next thing. Have an appropriate way of tracking first, but also have an appropriate weekly target for fat loss. For muscle gain, I think the targets need to be longer scale. So something like a monthly target. And a common one that I use with my muscle gaining clients is about 2 pounds per month of body weight. With the rest of the things I'm going to talk about should mean that they are gaining a reasonable amount of muscle alongside their diet. The next thing, which is the great deciding factor, is strength. Now, for fat loss clients, strength maintenance is really the big goal. Trying to hold on to whatever strength you've got is the main goal when it comes to fat loss. And I actually use that as a lever. So if a client is able to hold on to strength really, really well, and they're great, they're even gaining some strength, we can probably up our rate of fat loss and weight loss per week because they are able to confidently hold on to strength. And oftentimes this will happen. Oftentimes I'll get clients who are 50 to 60 pounds overweight. Now, when they come to me, they are able to gain strength as we diet. So we have no problem there whatsoever. So if they're willing to work a little bit harder, they can probably progress towards their goals a little bit faster by dropping weight faster. Now, that's a potential option, something we can discuss. So strength is a great indicator for fat loss clients. It has to be at least maintained, if not improved. For muscle gain, strength becomes just as important because we have to ensure we are definitely gaining strength over the weeks. If we're in a calorie surplus and we're not gaining strength, there's a problem. Okay, there's a problem. And so we need to look at programming, we need to look at diet, we need to ensure we're having the right amount of protein and energy and sleep and all that kind of stuff. So that's with muscle gain, it becomes a little bit slower. We do things more on a month-to-month basis. Next thing is correct eating system. So whether you're using macros, whether you're using low carb, keto, plant-based system, whether you're using a habit-based system, whatever you're using, ensure you have something appropriate set up, which allows you to hit your targets week in, week out, again, to fuel the greater plan. So hopefully I've impressed upon you guys the need for constant formative assessment. So constantly, week by week, month by month, you should be on it, on your stats, on your data, on it to make sure that you are hitting all the weekly goals. Otherwise, you don't want to be in a situation where you've not hit your goals week 1, not hit your goals week 2, you've been on holiday week 3 and week 4, and then you come back the next month and go, what happened? I didn't make any progress. I'm sure I was dieting. Like, were you really though? So, and you'd be surprised at how often that actually happens. People will just mistakenly, either they don't track or they don't have any kind of eating system. They'll snack periodically and they'll eat way more than they intend to. They'll miss training sessions. Or they'll go to training sessions. They won't really put the effort in. The bench will be taken because it's a Monday and go, screw it, I'll do bench next week. And the bench never happens. You'd be surprised at how often that occurs with regular Gen Pop people. If you stick to it on a weekly basis, you have a far greater chance of knocking off each week and each month to get to your eventual goal. Now, the cheat code to all of this is hiring an effective coach. Now, coaching gives you the cheat code because of two things. Firstly, knowledge. So a good coach should be able to provide you with knowledge of how to do all these things correctly. So how to do the weekly average, how to target what appropriate levels of strength, how to organize your training for that, gives you those weekly targets, gives you a correct eating system. Yeah, a good coach should have a multitude of eating systems that they can offer you because low carb is not for everyone. Macros are not for everyone. Not tracking macros is not for everyone. Most people will gravitate towards a coach that talks about the types of things they enjoy hearing. But a good coach should be able to coach you through a range of different ways, whether it's macros, whether it's habit-based eating, whether it's low carb, whether it's plant-based, whatever. Okay, a good coach should have enough knowledge to be able to do all of those things. So that's the first thing a good coach can give you. Second thing a good coach can give you is accountability, so your habits can be ingrained for long enough that they become easy. The biggest cheat code in all of this fitness stuff is to Get to a point where your healthy, productive habits are natural. You need to get to a point to train yourself where fitness is normal. And to do that, yeah, make things as easy as possible, as in make sure they jive with your lifestyle, but also do them for long enough that they become normal, they become natural. I didn't always used to go to the gym 4 days a week. Okay. When I was 16 years old, I hadn't gone to a gym in my life. I didn't always used to eat the way I do to maintain my body weight now. But I've done it for so long now, it's literally second nature. And that's why maintaining the body weight that I have now is second nature. And this body weight is about 10 to 15 kilos less than I've had throughout my entire life. But this is normal for me now. This level of leanness is more than I normally have because this is normal for me, because I've stuck to it for long enough. So the cheat code to all of this is getting a coach who actually has the knowledge to put you on the right track, but also can oversee you and give you the accountability for long enough that you stay on the right track until it becomes normal. So hopefully that was interesting. The link to my coaching is down below, so feel free to get in touch. Yes, we will speak to you guys next time. Take care.